Okay.
Begin flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Welcome everybody to the March 4th Marion County Commission meeting. We begin with public comments. Do we have any public comments today? Seeing none online, we'll move into agenda approval. Any additions to the agenda?
Brad will not be here, so
Okay.
we take him off. I didn't know if you wanted to add on to go look at the building today.
I would like to, if that works, for
Okay.
the
I already
tour of the new building.
I went and looked at it last payday.
Okay, so the
Out there
four,
this morning was all locked up.
well, the four of
We
us.
have arrangements to go out there if you want to go.
Yeah, I'll go. Okay.
Let's
Been out there
do the tour.
a couple weeks ago.
Anything else? If not, agenda stands approved, and we move into administrative business.
Okay. You want to do the minutes first?
You want me to do it? Okay. We have the minutes of February 26 and 29.
Okay, commission has had a chance to review the minutes of February 26th and 29th. Any corrections?
Motion to approve 26th and 29th.
Okay, motion by Commissioner Gehring. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Becker. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carried 5-0.
In the back.
It's a green folder. I thought change orders were green.
They're both green. It's in the very back.
That's the anti-theft.
She's messing with you.
You put them all in green.
I didn't remember it being green.
Well, that's because you just get handed the pages, not the folder.
That's it. See, I knew something was different. Thank you.
I changed it up a bit.
Yeah.
I wasn't losing.
Sure.
Just makes me feel better. Thank you.
Okay, and then we have early checks in the total of $10,309.06. We do have a total of $1,505.86 for Western Associates.
I move to approve $1,505.86 to Western Associates.
Okay, we have a motion. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Becker. Questions on the invoices? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay.
I'll abstain.
4 in favor, 1 abstain.
And I go ahead and make a motion to approve the early checks in the amount of $10,309.06.
All right, we have a motion from Commissioner Gehring. Is there a second?
Second.
Second, Commissioner Crowfoot. Questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye. Aye.
All opposed say nay. Motion carried 5-0.
We do have change orders.
So that's the green,
Yep.
but it's light. They're getting lighter.
Hopefully pretty soon we'll just do a cover sheet. And we'll be- Oh. Oh, look at that.
So we have a cover sheet?
You have a cover sheet, so you can review the individual pages and then just sign the front.
Okay. Look at that.
Mister is paying off already.
Just have to wait on me to go through them all.
And you just keep the cover sheet and then review and pass them along.
There you go. Well, I still gotta go through. Well, I see what you mean. Takes me a while to catch on. It's a new system. There, cover sheet.
Yeah. I suppose since we got the review already.
I think he was talking about look at each one and pass it and then pass the cover sheet.
All
last.
right.
Yeah.
We'll get it someday.
Well, I wanna sign it and then review it.
sign these?
No, we got a cover sheet coming out. Just gotta review them. There. Moved to Texas, huh? Now Dave won't have to get us new pins all the time. Be able to save some ink.
Still take new pens.
Oh yeah, these are my favorite pen.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, and Ashley ran the current encumbrances from the 2023 budget, so you should all have a page on the table there. Our practice for the past several years, many years, has been to have the encumbrances spent by February 28th, and then whatever wasn't spent would be canceled at that time. However, with the new building, there are some that are still kind of in process. And so I wanted to see if the commission wants to extend the encumbrances till March 15th, or if you want to cancel. Canceling would basically, whatever the purchases are would now have to come from the 2024 budget instead of the funds that were reserved out of 2023.
Make a motion to extend the encumbrances to March 15th.
15th.
Is that far enough?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, motion from Commissioner Garing to extend the deadline for the encumbrances to March 15th. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Becker. Discussion or questions?
What about the high dollar item there at the $75,000 walking floor trailer?
So that, we won't have, we encumbered it because you all committed to it last year. That one, even by March 15th, we probably won't have or be able to purchase and spend. So what we'll end up doing is cancel that on the 15th of March. We have to cancel them so that we can prepare the financial statements for the 2023 year. So it'll come out of this year's budget. The funds just would roll over.
It'd be a cash carryover instead.
Yeah. And Josh and I have already talked about that. I mean, but we were required to encumber it because the commitment was made last year.
Some of these are already off of here though.
Yeah, there are a lot of it's already been spent. So the main things, if you want to look at this on the general fund, you can see, let's see. The main part is, the main thing that's still outstanding is the copier and furniture for the new building out of planning and zoning. They encumbered $23,000, which was approved by the board, and so far we only have the invoices for $1,719 of that. And so they'll have a little bit of work to do in the next 2 weeks to get those in. And then we will cancel the transfer station trailer. Then the other one is the appraiser's office copier for $8,000. Nikki's waiting on a second quote for that. She had one quote, but we're waiting on the second one. She should have it this week, and then I'll review that with her on next Monday at our weekly meeting, and then we'll have a recommendation for a purchase on that. And those are the main ones. I think that's everything, really. We did have one for Road and Bridge that was actually, that was for ambulance, excuse me. The invoice was $6 more than what was encumbered. So we'll be adjusting that encumbrance by $6. Instead of trying to split $6 into the current budget year, that takes too much.
Okay, other questions? If not, we'll call the question. All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed, nay. Motion carried 5-0. You have another 2 weeks.
All right, thanks. We are scheduled, the audit is scheduled for April 9th and 10th. So it'll be just a kind of a quick turnaround, trying to get all the financials done and ready with the encumbrances in there. That's all I have.
All right.
We do have somebody who put something in the chat. Do you want me to read it?
Sure.
Wait.
Go ahead, Ashley. We're a little bit ahead on schedule, so.
Okay. This is from Nathan. I believe I missed public comment. With the road closure on Quail Creek and 350th area, would there be any way you, the commission, or Marcy, make a phone call to Union Pacific to advise them that blocking roads with the trains and the road closure will significantly reduce access into and out of Ramona for emergency services? I think giving them a heads up, they may be more mindful. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I think that concludes administrative items, is that right?
Yes.
Angie, are you ready? We're a little early.
You guys are.
Okay, we'll have you come up
Okay.
to the seat and
All right.
welcome.
Welcome. I'm back. I was telling you a minute ago, we just keep trying.
That's good, that's good. Unless you come up with one to blanket the whole county, then that would be better.
That isn't gonna happen, I'll tell you what.
Otherwise, we keep chipping
You guys want
away.
one of these?
Yes, thank you. We'll take one more.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, so, I just right here? Okay. So my name's Angie Schwartzfeger, I'm from TCT, and we do business in Marion County as both TCT Broadband and TCW Broadband, which is our competitive side of our, TCT's our incumbent side, which we serve many communities here and several rural areas. So anyway, this is just basically a letter telling you what we're doing. We're a little behind the 8 ball on this because we weren't sure if we were gonna be, what we were looking at would be eligible for this grant, so we've determined we can. So we're gonna do the Kansas Broadband Acceleration Grant, it's due March 11th. And it's a $1 million grant, it requires a 50% match, and it also requires community stakeholders to participate in that match in some way. It could be financial, it could be other things. It could be in-kind services of some kind, like community people going around and canvassing and getting support letters. It could be if the county would want to help us with some easements, make sure we are permitting, things like that. If we need some cabinets and there's some land you have, maybe you'd let us put it on there. There's all kinds of ways we can do that. So we're asking that you guys consider how you guys might be able to contribute to this. Like I said, it's $1 million is the amount of the grant. We have a long history here in Marion County. Have built out Hillsborough and almost done with Durham, hopefully soon. The weather hasn't always been real cooperative this winter, but we're getting close there. So on the second page, and this is a proprietary map, so I'd ask this isn't shared if possible. So this is what we're looking at. The green areas are where we're talking about the grant, and the blue areas are where we already have service clear up to Durham. And some of these have not been vetted. This is via Google Earth. And what we've looked at, we've compared this with the Kansas Broadband Challenge map. And so we'll be driving those routes this week to make sure there are indeed places in all those dots. So anyway, so we're gonna vet that. So that's the areas we're looking at for this grant. This next page is just what we're gonna be handing to the public, but all these things, so you guys know what's out there. Because I'm sure sometimes people come to you and go, hey, I got this thing and I didn't, do you know what this is? Is this a scam or not? So there's a couple letters people can use, and then there's this that we'll be handing out to people. And on the back page is kind of an explanation, because our original thought was to build north and west of Durham, where we're at now. And when the Kansas broadband map came out, this is what it looks like. These green dots are funded by the RDOF. Are you guys familiar with that?
Remind us.
So the RDOF was a reverse auction the FCC did several years ago, and they basically went out to companies and said, who can do this the cheapest? And so a company called AMG, it's a fixed wireless company, bid this, and they got the money for it. So this tells us that we can't get any dollars for this and any grants, which I was disappointed. I didn't realize what kind of reach they really had till we saw the challenge map. And how they did the challenge map was, I think you guys probably are familiar with, the Kansas broadband office went out and had everybody do speed tests across the state. Everybody did those. I don't even think those worked 100% all the time. I talked to a lady this morning. Thank you, Jonah, Linda Peters. He said she did hers and it never registered right. So, long story short,
They just did it at 2 a.m. Nobody was awake.
maybe that was, so it was faster.
There was no load.
Yeah,
Nice.
they had, yeah, it's
Not at 5.
It's all fake.
it's a game.
It's all fake.
So unfortunately, I could be wrong on all this, but I think those companies have between 5 and 10 years maybe to build that out, and they have to build out. I think it's 40% of the areas they've identified. It's not something that I think our state office or the carriers are happy with, but it's what the Federal Communications Commission did.
These sites aren't hot.
So those sites are what they're called, is they're funded by,
They got service there.
nope, they're building it.
I'm one of them.
Yeah, I know. That's why I wanted to bring that map for you to tell you. That's what we're looking at, and we're going to constantly be looking at, because we have a lot of people. When we did our Durham build and started talking to people, most of these people out here wanted fiber. And they came to our meetings, and we'd like to get it to them. It's just how we're going to do that. We have to keep chipping away, or how we're going to get service to them. So there's, So anyway, that's why we're not doing it that way, because we originally thought maybe we could. And when we got to looking at that, it was like, ooh, those guys are federally funded, and there's a lot of them. So with the BAG grant, you can actually have a few of those green dots, but it can't be the majority of them. So this was the majority of them. So that's why we went the other way. Because I should have given you guys a link to that map, but if you bring it up, you see the whole state, and there's little dots all over it, and you can see who has the required speeds, where the funded things are, and you can see 2 other dots, a blue dot and a red dot, and the blue dot's underserved, which you can do a grant for that, and the red dot's unserved. So, well, like if you look on that map where Durham is, do you see all the blue and red dots? That's what that means. So the green ones were actually funded, but we didn't write a grant for Durham, so. And that could have been one of the reasons when we have been writing grants, we were not getting it, because there are quite a few green dots there still. So, but we're gonna try for this one. It's a short turnaround, we have to have it in by next Monday. So I don't know what kinds of things you guys would be willing to help say, hey.
How many residents are on this map?
Oh, I'm gonna say about 80-something.
Quite a few.
Yeah, he was still working on some of this. Like I said, we kind of changed our purview when we figured out what we had to do real quick last week. Yeah, I could count that, but like I said, they still have to be vetted. Yeah, I mean, he thought around 80 to 90.
For Idea Tech was $100 per household. Something like that, yeah.
Okay. I didn't know that you guys were doing another one.
And that's just, you're asking for a pledge, right?
Sure, because this is a,
If you don't get it, you don't get.
yeah, if we don't get it, you won't have to do anything.
Same thing.
And as
Same grade.
we have a 2-year window to build out too.
And then it would be I mean, unless there's something just completely in the way, we would be more than willing to issue any permits
Okay.
under roadways.
Yeah, unless it was a special
It'd
circumstance.
have to be
Like,
gas line or something that you were telling them
what
to.
about gaslight? No, we wouldn't do that. The other thing, and I don't see that we're gonna have a problem on here. I don't think we run into any issues with the core. So I know we've had, sometimes it's hard
Oh, yes.
to get
On their ground.
on their, to get,
You
permission.
go right up to some of it.
Yeah, we had to build around that when we did Durham, which we figured out to build around. So, anyway, and Senator Moran took that up to Pentagon for us. We couldn't get anything done, so I don't know who else would. So, that's what we're asking for. If you could, we'll start getting that going. We'll start canvassing those areas and getting people's letters. A lot of those people have already come to us and asked for service. So.
You haven't went out and canvassed it yet.
Some of the people we know and some of them we don't, and then we haven't driven the routes. Like I said, this is like from, when they do engineering plans, it's Google Earth, and then you have to write it
Yeah.
to make sure. So some of those may be a barn. But it's also, we also compared it to the challenge grant. So we're pretty sure that a lot of those are actual addresses that people are at. Could also be an abandoned farmhouse or something, which isn't to say that someone doesn't own that property and might want to build there. We could still put a drop there. We've done that before.
Looking at a lot of them, and
What,
there ain't very many that I can think of that I haven't questioned, so.
Okay.
there's been some questions on what's your prices for once, let's say this went in, what would you, and somebody lives out here, what would be?
It depends on what speed they
Yeah.
have and their
What's-
packaging.
How many plans do you have?
Right now, we have about 5. And they range from everything from like $30 a month to $200 a month, depending on what speed you want. And how many services you have. If you have TV and phone and internet all together, or if you just have internet, it kind of depends. But we have what we call metered access, that's pretty low speed. So if you're someone on a fixed income and you're not gonna, if you want internet but you're not gonna use a whole lot, that's probably what you wanna do because it's kind of like your electricity. Okay, so.
You guys up to 2.5 gig?
We're working on it, getting some backbone in, so, yeah, yeah, yeah. We can do it.
Tech was working on their 2.5.
Yeah, I think everybody's trying to get there.
Oh, yeah, just
And we're getting new electronics in some of our areas too. Part of it's the electronics you have,
you had Intel in units.
because the fiber is the same. You know, I think I talked to you about this. The fiber is basically your road, and we have a big superhighway with the fiber. It just depends on what car you put on it, what shape the car's in, that kind of thing.
No,
How
it's
fast you can go.
not full yet.
Huh?
Fiber's not full yet.
Oh, it'll take a long time before we reach that capacity.
There's some stuff out of the 90s and still getting it super fast. Not
Yeah.
near what they can do right
Some places are mixed. They're like copper and fiber. Ours is all fiber, and it's all to the premise. But it'll depend, again, on your router, on your computer, on the electronics that we have, you know, the optical network terminal. I mean, there's so many things.
Only as
It's
good
way
as-
above my head.
Only as good as your weakest link.
Yeah, so,
You did Lake City of Hillsborough, correct?
yes, sir.
What kind of participation do you have?
I can't tell you the percent. We are adding people all the time. So a lot of people are on contracts that they were waiting to get out of. So, yeah, I mean, I feel like our penetration rate there is just going up every day. We have people every day that we have.
Surprised at the people that didn't sign on for the free up to the house at the time, and now
Yeah.
now they're getting it up to their house. I'm like, if you had any thought, possibly,
Yeah.
go ahead and say, yeah,
Well,
I'll
and some of those
bring it to my
are,
house.
we're finding a lot of those are because they've sold the house,
Oh,
which to me is like you should have to pay for that in your sales contract. I mean, the seller, but that's not up to me. And on those cases, what we're doing is we don't have contracts, but in those cases, we're saying, okay, if we build this connection, would you be willing to sign a couple-year contract so that we can recover that
yeah.
cost? So, but in this case, unless they outright refused it, I mean, we would really ask that they take the drop no matter what. We've done another grant like this in Alta Vista. That one we did in 3 months. It was a really fast one, but and that's how it was. It was every house. I think maybe 2 people didn't take a drop is all, but most people did.
Alta Vista, so 400 houses.
300 and some. Yep. And they have plans to build a lot, and that's one of the reasons they wanted fiber, because they're so close to, I don't know if you guys know where Alta Vista and Wabunzi
Close to Manhattan.
Close to Manhattan, and people keep moving out that way, so, anyway. Any other
They
questions?
got a nice little bar and grill on Main Street.
Oh, yeah, they do.
Any other questions for Angie?
I appreciate your help. Like I said, that map's a proprietary map right now, so if you could maybe not share that too much until
You have a
we
proposal?
edit.
Yeah, it was, like I said, we're trying to keep it fair. It was $100 per household. Super friendly on permitting. I don't know how to say that quite properly, but and I don't know what else. What
Oh,
else?
a letter of support.
Letter of support.
Letter of support.
Which I think I can provide, or you guys have written them before, so I think just change the language in the one you did last time to broadband acceleration.
And what else? I don't know what in-kind we would have to offer.
That'd have to be a money donation,
That or,
monetary.
I don't know if there's like, I don't know if you guys, I mean, maybe if something happened with a road, we could work together to clean it up, or I don't know, you know, that kind of stuff. Or, I don't, you know, if the office would, if I could call up and maybe get a list of people, or, you know, a mailing list or something. I know those, sometimes you can put a monetary value on those, but we should have that already, though.
We could always ask Steve if there was any kind that he
So-
could think of.
The volunteer, so, I'm not gonna say for sure yet or not, but someone like Ms. Peters, who's gonna help maybe get the word out, we can count those as volunteer hours, which have a monetary value, so that would be a contribution toward the community contribution. So,
Go ahead and call me a few more times.
okay, yeah, there you go, you guys are, yeah,
Write them hours down.
okay, there you go,
I would just, like she said, there may be barns out here.
yeah, there could be some.
I could think of one that I've seen that I think there's still a house and a barn, but I don't know that anybody lives there. But it's a kept up property. It's not just a.
Right.
Well, you could do the pledge based on the final number.
Yeah, on the final number, which we can get to you.
Not on the draft.
Probably can get
account.
to you in a couple days. Like I said, we're kind of behind on that.
We set precedent last week,
Yeah, it's hard not to.
and so I think we need to be equitable,
That being said, is there a motion?
equal, equitable.
There.
Fair.
If there's not a motion, then I guess
Same.
we'll move on.
Make a motion.
And your motion is?
To provide a letter of support, $100 per household drop match, and willingness to
Flexibility on easements.
easements.
Okay, we have a motion, is there a second?
I'd second.
Second by Commissioner Becker. Questions?
Yeah, this is a rural deal. So what if all the dots was in one town? I mean, just saying.
Well, some of them are in Canada.
Canada.
Yeah. That's out here? Yeah. Okay, that's part of it right there. Okay.
It's a build out, kind of similar to what we did last week.
This is actually gonna be more costly than building in a town.
Oh, yeah.
Well, it is.
Yeah.
It costs her to go
A lot more area to cover.
But you're also hitting main hubs, so like hitting Hillsborough, that allows you 13-mile road south. You hit Canada, that allows you Nighthawk south.
Yeah, I mean, there's a method to the transport fiber we're building out, you know. Kind of like when we did Highway 15 from Hillsborough, when we did our loop, what we call our incumbent route. When we came down from that way, we knew that eventually we wanted to go that way and offer that to people. So there'll be some strategy to it. So yeah, we're not gonna just go out and come back, oh, we need more money for the same area. we'll put some strategy behind it.
Any other questions? All in favor, say aye.
All right.
All opposed, nay. Motion
Thank you, guys. I will get you an update as soon as I have one. Okay.
Appreciate it.
Yeah,
Thank you,
appreciate
Angie.
you guys.
Thank you for trying to get more and more of our
If we don't
county.
get this one, we'll try again. The BEAD grant, which is the broadband equity and grant, is coming up. And that will be our next one. And that will be a big one.
And some of those areas, like out in my area,
Yeah.
is already funded.
Yeah.
Are we gonna know the company that's got that?
I can tell you now, it's AMG Technologies, and I can get you that information.
That might be good, because, you know, if you're sitting there 5 years later
Yeah.
and nothing's been done, somebody needs to be doing it before that.
Well, they need to pay it back with interest.
Please do not.
Need to do, because
I hope they
everything
can give
will
them
go
Well,
up.
I mean, they got the money, but they've got she's saying at least 5 years to do something. They may sit there and draw interest.
Clarify that motion again, so that it's going on. I have the letter of, provide the letter of support, $100.
Bad thing. A lot of money to draw in interest on it for 5 years. People are sitting out there wanting to serve
What was
with
it?
it.
Access, easement access. Favorability.
Providing the number that you come back with, that's what your motion was, wasn't it?
It was $100 per household.
So,
Okay.
so the paper, I just gave her that, so she has the map too, so I guess that's no longer confidential. So,
Can't ask them not to print it?
I can ask. But we'll see what happens, but
She's smiling.
I don't know what that means. Just because, they haven't been vetted and looked at, so, anyway. I wanted to be up front with you when we're going, so.
No, they would probably use some discretion.
I would appreciate
If it costs a grant and people
It
get
could.
fiber, it's gonna really upset some people.
Yeah, I might, so, hope not. Okay, thank you, guys.
Thanks, Angie. All right, Marcy.
Let me know.
I'm getting ready to move.
I'll get you a chair.
You can grab mine.
Are you sure?
Yep. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
No government again.
Welcome. What do you have for us today?
Well, one of the things that we have to discuss, we have to go into executive for.
Okay.
It's about security.
Okay, physical security, or,
Yes.
and how long would you like?
I have 30 minutes.
Sure. Okay. Get my glasses on. I move we recess into executive session in order to discuss security pursuant to KSA 75-4319B, and that is number 13, matters related to security measures. With the commission, Kobe, Marcy, and Tina for 30 minutes. We'll go from 1:05 to 1:35. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Galkey. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Motion carried 5-0. We will be back at 1:35. All right, we're out of executive session. No decisions made. Next,
Building.
building.
You
Okay.
wanted me back to discuss the building.
Yes. So we had, last meeting discussed the Hillsborough property, the options for that, and the location. In our discussions, you felt it was very appropriate, and spreading out risk would be a very appropriate site to use. We do know we're getting a lot of pressure from the 4-H building. There's a lot of use going on there. Moving equipment in and out, in and out, in and out. We need to find a new home. So I guess the next point is whether the commission's ready to move forward with that rental agreement, or your input, your recommendation.
I love the fact that we're spreading out our risk. With having a location that's separate from where you're gonna put my office and my storage. So if like my building gets taken out and I'm dead, at least somebody else can go grab the equipment and continue services. to the citizens. So I do like, that is like number one big, is to have that risk spread out so you don't, one location's gone and everything's gone type of thing. I really, really like that part of it. That's my number one. I also, which I don't know if you guys remembered from last time, I had the sheet before the lease stuff started. Did you need another copy of that, or are you okay?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Unless,
All right.
does anyone need
So that's, I don't have any other requirements. I wanted to let you be aware of what the Fair Board wanted. I wanted to let you guys know about that part of it. And I'll go with whatever you guys tell me to do. I'll make it work. So just let me know what you want me to do.
How many places did you check?
Well, I kind of did it when you try to Google storage, you don't get a lot. So we did the Google storage and we called the different storage places that we have. A lot of the places that I called, because when you look up storage on the internet for Marion County, you get a lot of like the small ones that don't.
They don't have big facilities.
Right.
There's only one.
So there was only actually 2 places that we had found that fit the requirements to store a vehicle that size. One of them was the JW storage out there at the reservoir, and then it was the other one in Hillsboro. So that's kind of how that came about. When I didn't get enough off the internet, I just started asking everybody I knew. I asked fire chiefs, I asked EMS, I asked the sheriff's office, I asked ranchers and farmers in case they had buildings. I asked Isaac about his storage area out at the county lake, if that would be big enough, with just a few modifications if he could fit. He actually spent an afternoon going out there to see if he could minimize stuff and see if he could fit some of my equipment in. So that's kind of, we kind of went outside the box on this one. If you have more places or other ideas or suggestions, I'll be happy to look at
The only
them.
one I know of is Whiteman's out there in East Shore. It's got some big buildings.
Yep, JW Storage. And I talked to him. He has some 50-foot buildings that are still under construction. They would be available possibly April 15th or May 1st. They're $145 a month per 50-foot building. And that does not include the deposit. You have to put 1 month deposit down for each spot before entering the building. If you pay for the year all at once, then you get 1 month free, and that's per spot. He'd possibly have at least 4 spots. We'd kind of prefer 5 if we can get the tower trailer out there too, but he can do that, and they have a 14-foot door. Now, there is no locked-in gated area like there is on the other one. It's not, individual buildings are locked, but there is no, it's public access storage. So he wanted to make us very aware of that. And then there's going to be a total of 14 spots available sometime in late spring. So,
So how many spots?
14.
14, okay.
And Mercy is wanting 5 of them.
Yep.
5 50-footers?
If I could. Well, it's always one of those, ask for what you want and then you'll get what you need.
I've heard it before.
Yep. So, yeah.
At that rental spot, is there electric power or service available?
Yes. Yeah. That has to be a requirement when I called around to the buildings because I have to have it for the equipment.
Right.
Because it has to be, I can't charge it before I use it. I have to be able to use it when I need it.
What about road access?
The main road access, that was correct, but remember we talked last time, I tend to want backup plans, and when it comes to backup plans, they're really, the backup plan, I might need gravel put on some roads for the backup plan. Because if you come straight from the south, yes, you can go all the way up to the storage areas, and it's right over the dam and everything like that. But because I'm a worst case scenario gal, what if that road is not available? How else do I get in there? So I look at my backup plan. My backup plan, the quickest route or way to get in there is to come in off of 77, and there's parts of that are mud roads, not gravel. So,
So there'd be some investment needed.
correct.
Tina, did you have any thoughts you'd like to share with us?
Well, I know that they're wanting to have things moved fairly quickly.
Yes.
We do have the option of a month-to-month for a couple of months in Hillsborough, and then potentially moving to a long-term, either in Hillsborough or with these units out at East Shore. So,
Do we have a lease agreement ready to proceed with the Hillsborough location?
I do have a draft lease agreement, and just because of the date that it is right now, I updated it to be starting like March 15th for a period a month to month, for a period not to exceed 4 months until July 15th. And then after that time, a longer term lease could be negotiated or not. And let's see. I think the amount that was being asked at the time is $1,500 a month, and I put it due on the 15th since we're not at the first of the month.
Sure.
So, but the landlord would, for that month-to-month time period, would keep the utilities, and we wouldn't pay utilities.
What were the rates out at East Shore?
150 a stall. 150 a stall.
Yeah, times 5, and then the gravel road improvements.
You don't have to have a gravel road improvement. You come off the blacktop the other way, it's often
Couldn't come around on 290th?
Pilsen, well, you can do that, but let's get real about it, folks. Let's talk real things here.
Okay, what's real?
$1,500 a month.
Okay.
That's $18,000 a year. 10 years, $180,000. That buys that building sitting here, just come up online. You wouldn't, I don't think anybody in here would pay $1,500 a month in their own personal business, or do their own books that way. I think other things would happen. It's nice to have a short-term deal, but we've looked at this for long-term for a long time, ain't done nothing about it. When's the time to do something? And a commissioner sitting here that's the owner of that property. I want to be upfront to the public. That's, and I know his intent is very good for what he wants to do with it. I hope it happens for everybody. But I don't know how about the rest of you, but that position for $100,000 and that position for $95,000, there's a lot of talk out there in the communities about what we're doing. So $1,500 a month is going to be another thing they're going to talk about.
And that's kind of a fair price, because I'm paid $1,000 a month for storage downtown Marion.
Yeah, but you're a business, Dave. We're not a business.
I know.
This is tax dollars. Don't forget it.
But it's a fair price for what you're getting.
One thing, looking at that building, you could do I don't know how that amortization would work out on a 10-year lease purchase. That might be something to look at. Rates aren't great, but when's the rates ever going to go down?
So you're talking about a potential building to purchase.
Right. I mean, if you figured an amortization schedule at 6, I don't know if you get it for 6, figure it 7.
8%.
7% interest on a 10-year term, figure out real quick, how that compares with a monthly rental that you'd end up owning. And then again, how much money do you have to put into a building like that?
To make it right.
I don't know.
So what are you going to do in the meantime?
Well,
And this is kind of a short term.
We have an option for short term.
get rid of the equipment, turn it back in. We haven't used nothing but the one trailer. And the lights, that's the only things we've used in the last 15 years.
The government won't let us turn it back
Oh,
in.
you can too. You can turn it in.
They're
Then-
working on that, the transfer of property agreements.
heard that for 2 years now.
Say something. I'm abstaining from this conversation,
Yeah.
but the talk about the salaries, I've been out and visited the site. Just on commercial alone,
We got our money back.
there's $60,000 worth of savings already.
Yeah.
We do another project, it's already covered on that salary. So I just want to quash anything on, we could have paid a contractor, we didn't, we paid him. And all we gotta do is come up with a few more thousands, and we've covered that salary. And took care of it in-house at a grade. I wanna make sure that that gets quashed, for sure. The other thing, we'll find savings over here.
So let's get back to the storage equipment. At least what I see is a short-term option. We've got long-term options that are possibly available. It's gonna take some time to get those into place. So I would make a motion to proceed with the rental agreement that's been presented in Hillsborough for the emergency management equipment storage. And it's on a month-to-month lease. If something better, if we can put together another plan, we're able to move forward. So that would be my motion. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Second by Commissioner Crowfoot. Discussion?
This will keep the 4-H and
Right.
county fair people happy where they can use it for the community.
Right.
Because it's become a popular place since everybody's air conditioned now and more people are using it for meetings, and hopefully this will draw more people to Marion County to use some of our facilities.
Good point.
Be an asset.
Other,
Also need to evaluate, like Randy said, you can turn that back, evaluate the pros and cons of doing that.
Yeah. And I still think we need to continue trying to knock down our inventory of emergency equipment. I don't know what you're gonna call it.
Yeah, there's things that we have that we need, but we've got a little surplus too.
Yeah.
okay, any other discussion? Not all in favor, say aye.
All right.
All opposed, say nay.
Abstain.
Motion carried with 3 in favor, all the opposed, Daring abstain. You have a new home for equipment,
Thanks.
for the time being.
So the
You don't have to
lease
wait till the
agreement,
15th.
just get legal
You
approval.
can move on over it, it's fine.
Yeah.
It's gonna be nice.
You didn't have to move out in the first place. You could have just stayed there till they got this figured out.
It's gonna be nice this week.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Marcy. All right, that completes the formal agenda. We would like to do our tour, 12:40. So, any commission comments? If not, we will, I guess what we'd say, proceed to the tour and then we will adjourn at completion of the tour. Is that the proper way? All right.
Ashley's gonna take the camera.
Yep.
Follow us around.
Microphone.